morning, folks. I'm back again already. Told you it would be. See, you'll get sick of me after about a week and then I'll go away for another 10 years again or something. So what I want to discuss today, well, I think I want to sort of say where I am, weight, world, that kind of thing. Excuse the face. I'll give you a close-up. I may have got a little bit of a touch-up on my lips yesterday, which hence it was all swollen, but today it's even more swollen. I look like I've got duck lips, but it's like it's really swollen at the moment. So I was trying to cover up with lip liner where all the injection marks are, but I think I've just made it worse. So these are just gonna have to, I'm looking in the screen here, but and seeing how bad it is, but so I'm just gonna have to put up with it to help it. So yeah, just a wee bit. The white line or something between the lip and the top of your lip kind of thing, like the red part of your lip, there's a little white line, and what she does, she just defines that a little bit more. So there's no real volume as such. But yes, vanity rules. I've just had my 52nd birthday. 52 now, my God. So yeah, definitely start needing the touch-ups. So that's why my face is the way it is. So trying to put on a little bit of makeup or whatever, but I think all I'm doing is accentuating the fact that my lips are atrocious looking at the moment. So where am I? Right, we are here. This is getting a bit shaky. I better take my hand off the table. So where are we? We are March of 2023. I would say about Q4 of last year. I've been hovering around 15 and a half stone, so like about 215, 220 pounds kind of thing. Kind of up and down, that kind of thing, not really losing any weight and just whatever, going off the boil, as it were. And then suddenly it seemed, I was traveling back and forth to the States quite a lot at about, I suppose between last September and between January, I've had about 5 or 6 trips, something like that. Anyway, by the end of Q4, I had ballooned up well over 16 stone, so well over 224 pounds. And it just started going up and up and up, culminating in January. I hit 238, so 17 stone. And I went to the doctor in January and I says, look, I don't know what has gone on, but in the last 3 months, I have ballooned. And I'm starting to get worried. So I went to the doctor, so then he did a blood panels and everything was fine. Now that doesn't mean to say everything's going to stay fine, but at that moment, everything was perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with me. So there was no thyroid, no whatever. So I says, well, I'm at the end of my rope here because I cannot afford to go higher. We're sort of hovering between 1610 and 1612, right? So that is 224, about 234, 232 through 234, 236 kind of thing, somewhere around that. That's, roughly where I sort of work in stones and pounds at the moment, just because that's what my scales are. And for you, my US friends, there's 14 pounds in 1 stone. So if I say 16 stone, that's 16 times 14, which is 224, and then whatever else is on top. So it's 234 or whatever, kind of hovering. I said, I'm at the end of my rope. What do I do here? And he said, well, have you thought about these weight loss? Well, first of all, he says, have you tried everything? And I said, yes, I have done Weight Watchers, Slimming World, Cambridge diet, Shake That Weight, shakes, VLCD, you name it, I've tried it. And anytime I've tried it, all it does is exacerbates my eating disorder or disordered eating, whatever the hell you want to call it. I throw up whenever I'm trying to control my weight. And it's a control mechanism. It's not, but the weight's not going down, it's going up. because of binge and out of stress and whatever, emotional eating, all those things. Like, I am a classic case. Like, I'm not trying to say, oh, woe is me, a victim. I'm not a victim. I'm a victim of my own friggin' making. That's what I am, a victim of my own making. But I am where I am, kind of thing. And I know that whenever I am trying to lose weight, my bulimia gets quite chronic, right? So I can go months with nothing. And as soon as I think, right, I've got to lose weight, I mean, it's like daily. Anyway, that being said, point being, I've tried everything and nothing really works. And he says, well, have you tried these weight loss drugs, injections kind of thing? And he says, you know, they were designed for diabetics and whatever. And so that kind of perked me up a wee bit, because I'm kind of figuring, well, the best type of diet for me, or regime, is a low carb, mainly carnivore, somewhat a diabetic diet anyway. So I kind of figured, if my face is very shiny, I'm noticing, if I tried something that was for diabetics, oh, I have to take my hand off this table because I'm jiggering myself, then obviously it's going to be working on the insulin resistance, the leptin resistance, cortisol resistance, all those hormones, right, which when triggered culminate in fat accumulation, right? For whatever reason. Now, you can believe me or not, I've done a lot of the research. There are so many YouTube channels out there by really well researched physicians, scientists and whatever, right? And I'm a scientist myself by trade, by degree. So I'm not afraid to research, and I'm not afraid to make my own opinions. But I'm looking more and more into the hormonal control of fat accumulation and whatever. I mean, basically my body is a perfect survival machine. In other words, I put on fat very simply and very easily, and hence in times of famine I will survive. I mean, I am ready for 9 months of the zombie apocalypse right here. I am going to outlast a nuclear winter with my body. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I am perfection in that. The problem is, there is no nuclear winter, there is no zombie apocalypse, there is no famine, right? So whatever I'm consuming, it's just going on, but it's never getting used. So that's where we are. So top line weight 238. I'm at the end of my rope. So go on to Boots Online Doctor in the UK. Boots is one of our main pharmacists, chemists, drugstores kind of thing. And I did all the little sort of, you know, online survey and whatever. And then a pharmacist, and I think a nurse or something, looks over your profile and says whether or not you can, you know, take this drug. Now, in the UK, you get 5 pens for £240 through Boots Online Doctor. They also have to take your doctor's details, and they do send a letter, because I phoned the doctor this morning just to get like a follow-up appointment for next month, just to see how I'm going with being on it. And they had said like the letter had come through from the pharmacy, i.e. Boots, to say Natalie is on, you know, this drug sort of thing. So it's all official, all above board, no issues. Then I started it, I think it was 4 Tuesdays ago, because I'm now, you start at the lowest dose, and it's a pen, and the pen is, you just sort of twist the barrel, and it, you know, goes up your measures and stuff like that. And you start on the lowest, and each week you go up. So I am starting the 4th week, which is the one level below the highest that I'm going to be on whenever I'm maintaining this level of drug. So it lasts about 7 weeks or something for the first 5 pens. Subsequently, when you're on the top dose, each pen lasts 6 days. So in other words, if you get 5 pens, you've got 30 days, a month's worth of use. And again, that's £240. Now, I could spend £240 in takeaways and shit in a month anyway. So whatever I'm not eating, the it's paying for itself kind of thing. So I'm in a very privileged position to be able to afford this. So I'm okay with that. So I started it, as I say, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I had terrible indigestion. Certainly I had no appetite. I mean, I think that's been the really weirdest thing for me in this whole thing. And it's still there now. It's maybe waning a little bit. And obviously I'm up in the dose, but honestly, I would have thought about something and it would have eaten away at me until I'd gone and got whatever that was, or I'd keep looking in the fridge for something to pull out or something to eat, or takeaways every other day and shit like that, right? And for the first 2 weeks, I couldn't look at food for it would make me heave, right? Really dramatic feeling of I am not hungry and I do not want to go near food. And I had to sort of force myself to eat. And I lost about 7 pounds in the first couple of weeks. Then I had a birthday, then I had a couple of wee events, and I sort of put on about 3 pounds over the last sort of, kind of stalled and whatever. And that was okay because I'd still lost, but I wasn't losing more. So as of today, the 230, it was my highest. I started the drug and I was 230. So I'd lost about half a stone, right? 78 pounds. So 230. Weighed myself today, as I say, I'm roughly in about week 4 and I'm back down to 221. So I've lost 9 pounds and I'm hoping those little events are now out of the way and I'm going to start, continuing to go down. But I've had a couple of meals out because of work and work events and stuff. And I remember when I ordered like a chicken wing starter and a seafood chowder. Wasn't going to eat the bread or anything like that. Sorry, I've got to keep taking water. Oh, look at the size of this. Now, I started it about here today. So I haven't done this all today, but I'm trying to get as much water into me because that's one of the things as well, is I've got to start listening to thirst versus hunger in my head, right? So that's another thing. So I'm 221 today. I've got to go back to America in 6 weeks. So I'm trying to get another 20 pounds off in those 6 weeks. 14 to 20 pounds kind of thing. 15 to 20 pounds I'd like to get off in 6 weeks. So I'm not starving. Number one, I have enough fat on me to do, like I say, a freaking nuclear holocaust. I'm not starving, but I'm not hungry either. Now, sometimes I do get a little notion, like if I haven't eaten all day because I'm at work or doing stuff, like last night, I did get a takeaway. But it was only sort of starters because I don't want rice, don't want chips. I used to go and get like a Chinese meal and it would be prawn toast. It would be maybe like grilled chicken, not grilled chicken, what I'm talking about, deep fried chicken with a lemon sauce and then chips, right? That was my thing. I loved that. Or chicken wings and the chicken and chips. And I got 3 starters. One was like a prawn starter, one was a chicken satay, and then chicken wings. And I ate the prawns and the chicken satay last night, but I'd overeaten. Like I could have just done with just the prawns and then left the rest for today. And then the chicken wings I had for breakfast, but I only ate 5 out of the 7 or something like that there. And then I threw the rest in the bin because that was enough for me. And this is the change. This is what I'm trying to get across, is my head, like my eyes and my memory want more food, right? But my brain is saying, you're not hungry, you're full. And my tummy is telling me I am full a lot sooner than what I've ever. Like I have eaten myself to the point of pain on so many occasions. And I mean pain. I used to get this really, really bad pain in my shoulder here, which was referred pain from my stomach. And it was basically my stomach was so distended that the nerves in here were screaming, and whatever one, it's a shoulder pain here. that refers to your stomach. I have done that on so many occasions, then I've had to go and throw it up and blah, blah, blah. That's been the biggest change. So it's not that I'm necessarily changing my diet so much, although I am trying to stick to more of a meat or fish-based diet anyway. It's my brain has changed. It's the weirdest freaking thing. And I can't get over it. I don't need or feel that overwhelming craving for food that I used to have that would have tortured me. So I'm not perfect. I'm not doing it like, oh my God, plate of friggin' broccoli and, you know, tuna or whatever. No, I'm not. But I'm not eating the quantity that I would ever have eaten before. And so I could have just ordered 2 starters instead of 3 starters last night. Like, that was greed. That was just memory greed, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I could have had 1 last night and I could have had 1 today. And that is such a huge change from what it would have been before, where I would have pigged out. So I'm waiting to see how this goes. So the biggest side effects for me is slight nausea when you go up a dose for a couple of hours. That's it. If I drink any alcohol, like Prosecco or something, I do get indigestion. So I have my Gaviscon and stuff. I'm not drinking enough water, I don't think, which is why I literally have to walk around with this and just take a drink. So I'm going to take a drink now because literally I've got to keep getting it into me. And that's the biggest thing, because I've got to get past the thirst versus hunger thing. And I'm doing a few more walks, not brilliant. First, I would also say the first 2 to 3 weeks, I was very fatigued. Very fatigued. Probably just because I wasn't eating anything, because my body was getting used to the fact that I am not hungry. I don't want to look at food. I don't want to do that. I'm over that a wee bit now. So I'm trying to do maybe 3 times a week, go out for an hour's walk. So I'm not doing ridiculous. I'm still huge. But yes, so this is my journey on this Saxenda. Liraglutide, I think, is the chemical, whatever, and it's a GH1 peptide, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even going to go into that. But it works on your appetite, both in your stomach to increase feelings of fullness. And I think because it kind of works on the stomach muscles or something to distend them or something, so you kind of physically feel full. But I think it then works, I think it's the hypothalamus, can't remember, but it works somewhere in the brain anyway, to basically trigger those feelings of satiation much sooner. And then it obviously works on leptin, which is a starvation hormone. And by virtue of all the other different things, it's working on my insulin resistance. I'm trying to work on my stress levels so that my cortisol doesn't inhibit, because cortisol is a stress hormone which acts on starvation, or fat accumulation as well. So I'm trying to work on all these different things, because those 3 hormones, leptin, cortisol and insulin, are the 3 major reasons why I accumulate food. I want to overeat, I want to store fat, and I want to just kind of cocoon. And so I'm trying to actively think in my head, relax, pursue different things to take your mind off things, and just eat for fuel. So this has been a 20-minute quick sort of introduction and a quick sort of relay of where I am now. So each week I'll maybe, go in and do another wee facet of how I'm doing, what struggles I've come across. And I might even do a wee Saturday chat with Nat thing again, where I just come in and tell you all about the rest of my thing, my thing. Oh, the other thing I just want to say is I'm trying. So I got divorced about 9 years ago. I haven't dated since, I just haven't. And I've been on 2 dates in the last month. Now, they didn't amount to anything. But that's one of the other reasons why I am pursuing this with gusto, as it were. I want to date again. I am not dead. I'm not dead between the ears, and I'm not dead between the legs. TMI. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, us girls, sometimes we can take it or leave it kind of thing. But I'm not dead. And I really want to, date again. Anyway, doorbell's just gone. So I'll go and I'll talk to you all soon.